Oh my goodness, there is a lonely camera on the side of the road. And I was just running here barefoot. Well, let's talk about barefoot running. Barefoot running, the way your body wants to run. I know the industry of running. It's a lot about the tools, the equipment, the cool shoes, the cool shorts, the cool shirt, but specifically about the cool shoes. I love shoes, I do, but that's not how your body is designed to run. Barefoot running is really not a weird thing. It is the way your body meant to work. And it all starts with where you connect to the ground. If the base is not the way how it's meant to be, how do you expect your body to move properly? The way how your feet start, it starts chain reaction. It's not just about the feet, but when you run barefoot, your knees operate differently. Your hips move differently. Your spine moves differently. Your shoulders move differently. For example, if you run on something that's very sharp, your body is going to start to angulate. I'm exaggerating completely. But this way you can actually shock absorb much better the running than when you are stiffly running like this. When you're running with shoe, you don't need to worry about saving your feet. So you can bang your foot into the ground and you can stomp loud. This is something that's with us as Westerners for a long time. When we came over here to North America, the cowboys, they always were fascinated how Native Americans were so quiet. They were able to run and sneak up on everybody and everything. But the reason for that is not any kind of special technique. They were just using the feet the way how the feet meant to be used, which is they were barefoot or they had a thin layer of leather between them and the ground in the form of moccasins. I learned this from a Native American teacher. When you are a good hunter, when you can walk up to a wild animal and the wild animal doesn't realize that you are there. I'm not telling you to walk up to wild animals, but what you can experiment with, and this is what I love doing, is when I'm on a run and I see somewhere there's a dog with someone, I usually run towards the dog and I know I'm doing a good job with my feet when the dog doesn't sense that I'm around. And sometimes dogs do get startled when I run by because they're not used to having quiet humans run around. But when you're quiet, it's not just that you're quiet. When you land your feet on the ground, it's careful. It's gentle on your body. At Harvard University, they did this study where they tested people who are experienced barefoot runners and they wanted to see what kind of shear forces go through their entire system while they're running. And you know what they realized? That there was no difference between when they were running versus when they were walking. So when you're an experienced barefoot runner, the shear forces around your joints is significantly less as opposed to when you're running with shoes. Because with shoes, you don't need to be careful. You can stomp, you can hit the ground hard. And look at runners. You can see as they step forward, their knees are straight. Because as you reach forward, if you don't need to be careful with your foot, you just bang into it. When you're doing barefoot running, that never happens. Your feet stay below you, and as you are running, your knees are always slightly more bent. And when you go downhill as a shoeless runner, your knee is gonna bend even more. It's the most disturbing sound for me, listening to a runner running down and stomping with their feet really loud. With barefoot, that will never happen. Because if you try to do that, it would hurt so much. Barefoot running is really just the way how your body meant to move. It's not science, it's not cutting edge at all. This is how people ran right up until about 100 years ago. And then in the 1950s, 60s, Nike came in, they developed all these sophisticated running shoes and people started to wear them. And then our society believed that
you cannot run without a good running shoe.
The pronation, where your foot sags down, where your foot kind of sinks and then comes back up as you step away from the step. That pronation, shoes try to correct. Why to correct that? That's just an extra spring mechanism that helps you to spring forward.
Pronation is good.
With shoes, it's very hard to learn it properly because there's a barrier between you and the ground. If you would try to use your hand, but you would put a thick glove on it, how much less you're capable. I mean, that's the same thing. Shoes are just gloves for your feet. Sometimes gloves are good if you're very cold and you're out in snow. I'm not saying to walk around barefoot in snow.
At least not at the beginning. Maybe you'll be curious once you do it a lot.
Just put the gloves on when you really need it. If you don't need the gloves, I'm not wearing gloves right now. I'm not wearing shoes either. Anyhow, it's good to see you here on the side of the road. Bye.